movies, and then started doing the music.
You got into the union, you say. That was a SAG or
SAG, right? Yeah.
Right. And so you were okay. And then you would do ads. Is that it?
Commercials. Sure.
You enjoy that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a very Marshall McLuhan said the television's just there. All the creative talent goes into the ads, and then the programming is sort of secondary to the ads because that's what the commercial networks are about. Well, huge budgets and huge concern. Bob Abel used to do great stuff and everything. But you were involved. What kind of you would do on camera, I guess, because you were attractive, that sort of thing, and the kind of thing they need for an ad.
Yeah, and you have to be able to create a story in a very short arc.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, 30 seconds.
30 seconds, yeah. And there's such an art form, and I think you probably know that the commercial actors were on strike, I think it was, what was it, 6 years ago?
That's right, they did, I'd forgotten that,
and a lot of people don't realize there's a whole knack to that. It's a whole reason why people have been buying products for years is the commercial actress, and did a lot of them. It paid for my health insurance. It paid for, obviously my son's health insurance. Yeah. And that was a really important thing. And it wasn't until he got older that I could start to branch out and do the music and things like that.
Yeah. So it was a profession.
Yeah. Sure.
And it built off the modeling. Yeah. I guess they're sort of connected in a way because that's a profession that again is glamorous. Yeah. And then also the acting is. Yeah. And you found you were able to find and make your way that way. Yeah. Just, huh? Yeah. Very often.
No, it's good. No, it's good, sure.
You've made something like 100, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Much, That's a lot of some ads. Do you have clips of the ads that you were done? Do you ever save the ads? Do you have them?
I actually did just have my reels sent from LA to New York for something else. And looking at them again was like, whoa, I did used to do that.
Really?
Real,
and that would be a fun thing to do. Yeah. Somebody should do that maybe. If they got the ads, I can remember, there's certain ads really stick in our mind.
Yeah.
They're important.
A lot of the ones that are Clio, they just,
Clio, that's right. They have the Clio Awards. They give the ads they're still doing that, are they?
Sure.
Yeah.
I would think. I've forgotten one.
And Los Angeles is all wrapped up with showbiz, right? And there's a lot, and you were in Los Angeles based, and doing that, and then you also acted in some movies, which is the feature films, which is a different thing, but it's all one industry, I guess. Yeah. And you've done that, and then you also have a singing career, right? Yeah. And do you compose or not, or do you just sing songs that suit your voice and that sort of thing?
Right. Well, originally I started recording. The style was Brit pop, which was
pop, British pop.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's alternative, and it's I would say if I could define it as Sonic Youth meets Susan Vega.
Oh.
And Sonic Youth is I don't want to describe them, but it's more a punk-esque kind of beat more to it. Now all the Britpop fans are going to kill me for describing it that way.
I don't know Britpop. I don't think.
But it's just kind of, it's a certain sound.
Yeah.
And then the voice laid over it. And then I was with somebody and started singing vintage. And
vintage.
Critter, standards, pop standards.
Right, okay, right.
And then that expanded and just kept doing more and more of those. And obviously Santa Baby has been the most successful of it. And now I have new music, which is electronica, which is more dance music. But it's all on, I believe, radio at AOL, Launchcast, Yahoo, and obviously other outlets.
Yeah, there's a lot on the internet. If they put your name in, a lot comes up, and we're going to put the site at the end and that sort of thing. And all the while you're feeling this empathetic thing for the less advantaged people of the world in the background, at least, of your consciousness, as you were in this glamorous setting, and you kept your sense of conscience. We just had a big demonstration in Washington today, and a great number of the people in Hollywood, let's just say, seem to be, over a longer haul, what would be thought of as being liberal in terms of American foreign policy and that sort of thing. Would you put yourself in accord with the Los Angeles vibe in that regard, or is it more secondary, or?
I always hear that about LA, and I can't.
Bunch of liberals out there.
Yeah, that's what I always hear. But they see everyone seems pretty conservative. I don't know. I can't really judge it in that. Well, what I will say is that when you are an artist, and at the end of the day, an actress is an artist or an actor.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
What you pull pull on to stay strong, whether it's doing yoga, whether it's chanting, whether it's a meditation. It's going to make you more sensitive to what's going on in the world, and it's going to make you look at more, you know, anyone who's, for instance, there's been such a movement with indie film. And
Thank goodness. Yeah.
And anytime you're indie and you're out on a limb without a salary, believing in your dreams, that support that you have to find is natural, that you're going to start to find that kinship in other people's struggles.
Yeah, right.
So
and there are a lot of people. There's a lot of people in that position now. A lot of good people.
Yeah.
Some of the best might be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I almost, in many ways, wish we had a studio system, because that's a lot to put on a creative person, you know, to somehow maintain a stability, have an income, believe in your dreams. That's a lot to ask out of someone. But so if there are liberals, that's why. No, I don't know.
Yeah. But the politics of the earth are still roiling things and everything. We just had this great, we're talking now on the 24th of September, and today they apparently, from the news reports, they had something like 300,000 people in Washington saying we ought to get out of Iraq. You know, a lot of people are saying that, much as, I can remember when they first got the thing going about Vietnam way back when. And then we also had the result of the Katrina thing that hit so inordinately upon black faces and poor people down in New Orleans. It's really brought a big sort of jolt to the national consciousness, I think, don't you?
I hope so. You know, I've been here, so I haven't really seen or listened to how the media is portraying it or not, but it's, I think I was always aware of how everyone's living in America. And just assumed everybody else was. But as you say that, I think it's really opened us all to realize that, I don't know if maybe at the millennium when the internet made us all kind of have a grand detente and meet everybody around the world at that little opening, but somehow when you have a third world and a first world merge, we all become second in some way. And I think that Katrina is highlighting that not everybody is having what you see projected nonstop. And the key thing is that doesn't make anyone of less value. It's we're all here, we all bring something to the table. And I remember when they put the quote up on the site for the 1,000 women that have been nominated.
Yeah, we want to get to that.
They used a quote, and they said, displaced, that I guess I had said after seeing the refugees, displaced societies are of value, their issues are our issues. And I was reading it thinking, well, how does that really apply to anybody in America? And all of a sudden you have Katrina, but more importantly, it's like when we went to war. Somehow I grew up on Eleanor Roosevelt, was really drilled into my head. And
that's a good thing to be drilled into your head, I would suggest. And the Universal Declaration of Human Rights ain't bad.
Right? That's a nice, But it just seemed as though we entered a war, we had 9/11, we had a war, and no one kind of stopped to, number one, all the single moms that were left from 9/11, or all the single moms whose husbands are fighting in Iraq. That's their career, that's their job, and the wives are home left to raise these children. And maybe with Katrina, everybody looks around, not just puts their energy on Katrina, and luckily everyone's helping, and I don't know the delay and all that, but hopefully maybe everybody starts to look at their neighbors a little more closely and says, you know, here's something extra I don't need, here's something. I don't know, I think at a certain times things change where, I don't know, I'm a more share person, so it's hard for me to understand.
Why everybody isn't. Why isn't everybody that way?
It's a power thing. I understand that, but it's just that we get so much in this country, and we're so blessed. And if you don't, there was so much heat going on in the millennium when I launched it, and you just felt it from around the world.
You mean in the year 2000? 1990.
That so much was going on, and America was completely oblivious to what was happening around the world, and that fire can either build up and you have something like 9/11, or that fire can build up where you start to go, wait a minute, how do we balance this out a little more?
How do we balance it out and take, and care about some of the. Do you remember when you're doing the sociology? Was it Harrington? Was it the Other America? There was a book that came out that influenced things, and he showed the face of poverty, and people hadn't realized it was there.
Yeah.
It had a great, energizing effect, and I think this thing might make aware of the fact that there's a whole lot of Americans that are not really in the swing of things, are being disadvantaged within our society, and make them aware of that. And I want to talk about it because you've been over in Sahara, Western Sahara,
right, yeah,
helping with refugees.
Right.
You've been looking at that. We've got a lot of people on a scale, on the world scale. We've got, I just saw somebody say in India they've got 250 million people, that's the population of our country nearly, live on less than $1 a day. It's hard to know how somebody could have managed that. And we got half the population of the world lives on less than $2 a day. So, I mean, people are maybe becoming aware of that sort of thing, and you have been, and you did some work, and you were working with the refugees, is that it? Or maybe you could share what it is you did in the Western Sahara,
Sure.
and because that's good work. But could you share it with us then?
Well, the key was this, that in the process of launching the music, was discovering my own authentic power, and personal responsibility. What could I, as a human being, each day of my life, make the music happen? So when you start to look at a model like that, you say, well, who else does that affect?
Yeah.
I started in the music industry with a used computer and a $300 song, basically. So
$300 song?
Oh, it's what it cost to record. It was
I
recorded
see.
as a gift.
Oh, I
Most
see.
of my songs are originally.
Was that Santa Baby? Okay. Okay.
It was recorded for someone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And once you see that model and you see what you struggled and went through in America, in Los Angeles, all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, somebody in Africa can use that same, who else out there?
Relatively simple, accessible. Yeah, okay, go on. Yeah.
And also, when you go through something of self-determination, you kind of look around and go, well, who else is...
It's empowering.
It's, and the journey that I went on to do the music, I was kind of attuned to seeing if something would happen with it. I mean, the whole reason why I did the music was to get a voice in this world.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
I was pretty shy and...
You're shy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. It's good.
Well, good if you didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
But sure, it meant, and as Americans, we're so rich on so many levels, and yet lose so much power to
loudmouth.
Yeah, or our own insecurities, or anything else. Little girls being worried about anorexia or whatever's going on. There's so much that depowers us and distracts us.
Absolutely.
And if you could overcome that, that's actually what is your strength on this planet.
Okay, that's interesting.
And it seems as though if America's been in therapy for 30 years or whatever, instead of continuing to wonder what we didn't get and how this happened to us and that happened, instead maybe realize if I overcome that, how much stronger I am to help someone else. We're all in different developmental stages, it seems like, around the world.
Yeah.
And to be invited to raise awareness for refugees that no one knew were there, that had signed a peace accord in 91 with the UN, and have been living in self-determination. That means...
Now you're talking about the people in the Western Sahara.
Yeah.
Now maybe you could fill us in a little bit, because we don't know about it. So it would be good for you to fill us in on a group. And there's so many people around the world that we're not adequately aware of, that we should be and more empathetically in touch with, and realizing we're all part of the same human family, which sounds trite but is very true.
Sure. It's like it takes all facets to make the world a diamond. And lots of times we think just because people have been removed from their land and their wealth, they're of no value, because they're not able to trade.
Yeah.
But there's something interesting in the value of being self-determined now for 31 years they're going on. And what basically happened was, it was a colony, I guess you'd say, of Spain. And then...
Now, where are we talking about? Not below Mauritania? Or